It is the time to be selfish and care deeply about yourself. If you don't care deeply about yourself, then who really can, right?
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record,
Hello guys, welcome back for another video. Today's video has been highly requested, and I personally feel like I am the queen of being a part of the selfish era. I have talked about being selfish on this channel before, and I wanted to give an updated video for all of my girls and guys who genuinely want to manifest a softer life, a more selfish life. And by selfish, I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean it in a self-focused, grinding, hustling, becoming the hot girl, hot guy that you want to be, and actually really getting the things that you truly desire, seeking the help that you need to better yourself, getting rid of toxic people in your life, focusing on yourself and growing your businesses, your ideas, your hobbies, and your passions. And honestly, just setting really amazing boundaries so that you can just live an authentic, beautiful, really secure life. I also really think this video is important for all of my people pleasers and my selfless people who genuinely have a very difficult time facilitating and manifesting a more selfish lifestyle. I think a lot of us struggle with this, and it ends up being the detriment to your own success and your own growth in your journey of life. I personally feel like, and this is my personal opinion, when you are more selfish with your time, your energy, your lifestyle, your money, and things like that, you are going to just be a happier person overall, because you're going to feel like you have a little bit more control over things. And being a selfless person and being a people pleaser isn't necessarily a good thing, and it ends up, you know, creating a lot of hurt in your own life where you're like, what has happened in these past few years? Where has the time went? I haven't focused on myself. I'm giving way too much than I'm taking. And it starts to feel like, you know, you're pouring into somebody else's cup or something else, and you're not receiving anything yourself in your own cup, and now you're empty. You're literally running on E, and you are looking at time like, where has it went? Why do I feel like I haven't made progress? And it's truly because you are people pleasing. It's truly because you are being selfless. And as much as I do believe in being a good person, a genuine person, a loyal person, and sometimes actually being selfless, I think it's important that we compartmentalize certain things in our life where we don't have to be all of something. We don't have to be 150% selfless. We can be selfless when it comes to our friends and family and people in our life that we care about for certain instances and times where they really need us. And then we can also be really selfish with our time and our energy and our job and our money and, you know, our passions. These are ways that we can truly actually have it all, and you can have it all. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to manifest it and how to actually execute the manifestation itself. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you guys want to be more a part of my journey. I would say that this channel is a self-care channel. It also has been more geared towards helping women and men strive to be the best versions of themselves. I never knew I was gonna be the type of person to give advice, but because I am going through my own self-love journey and my own self-discovery journey, I have found that there's a lot of things that I am so able to share with you guys to help you out that is also helping me out. So whenever I give advice, just understand it's recent advice. These are things that I am actually implementing in my life right this second. This isn't advice from somebody who's been doing this for 100 years. Like, I actually am going through the motions myself, and I wanted to give you the advice along the way of things that I've been doing. So I hope that really helps you guys. And yeah, let me know if you guys want any other videos similar to this. If you want a whole video on the soft life, let me know. And yeah, let's get into this video. You guys listen to it podcast style or watch it if you have the time. You guys know the drill. I just love to rant and just talk. So that's what this channel is all about. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, so I want to say this because I actually had a conversation with somebody recently for quite some time, and we were talking about, you know, what makes up of a really amazing life. And I personally feel like, and this person also agrees, that a lot of people like to focus on the future, and that makes them happy. And you know what? For years, that was me. I hated my now. My now was the worst, and I always thought that what kept me going was my ability to change my life and to look forward to the future. I would always imagine my dream cars, my dream house, my dream life, what I would feel like when I wake up, what slippers am I wearing, what's my skincare routine looking like in my beautiful big home, how many dogs do I have a garden? Like, these were the things that I used to just dream about, and living in that space in my mind was actually quite healthy at the time. But in my newfound journey of my more selfish era, I have decided that instead of being so focused on the future, I want to really create the perfect right now, the perfect present. And something about having a beautiful, productive, and happy present is, I think, superior to it all. Because I think a lot of people who focus on the future never get to truly appreciate the now, and a lot of people who focus on the past never get to move forward. So when you genuinely love your present and your now, you're solid. And I'm gonna talk about this more in a future video about how to live a softer life, but this really does tie into being selfish, because I think a lot of the times when we are selfish, our now becomes better. We're, implementing more self-care into our lives. We're taking care of our body and our health more than ever. We are, prioritizing even our mental health. This is super important as well. We are working out more. We are spending quality time with friends and family that we love and enjoy. We're working smarter, not harder. We are doing things a little bit more calculated, but in a healthy, calculated way. And I think that when you start to love your now and love your present, you're just gonna be on a freaking euphoric high. So I'm gonna talk about how you can do that. First things first, to manifest and to actually execute a more selfish life, we need to set boundaries with ourselves and with other people in our life. So I think a lot of people struggle with boundaries, and it could come from childhood. It could come from people naturally crossing your boundaries when you were super young and you didn't really even realize what boundaries even were. So you were just used to people using you as a doormat or stomping over you or stifling you. Well, we're not gonna allow that in our more selfish era. I think it's important to truly actually create healthy, easy to follow boundaries for yourself. So that could be, let's just say you own a business. Actually, let me give a perfect example. You are selling something and you want X amount of dollars for it, and somebody is always lowballing you. Always lowballing you. In your selfish era, you're gonna get what you deserve price-wise for the things that you sell. I think it's important to be very selfish in your life when it comes to making money, when it comes to growing your businesses, when it comes to getting your body together, when it comes to having that healthy balance between friends, going out, alone time, work, all of that is going to help. And I think that being choosy with whom you give your energy to is truly really important. Energy is huge. Where energy goes, energy flows, right? So I think that when you are giving so much of yourself to situations that don't serve you, I, was guilty of this for a huge portion of my life. I am speaking from experience. And I have to say, in my selfish era, I've had multiple different ones. I was selfish on my relationship for years, and it was really helpful in my growing journey with even being a YouTuber. And now that I'm single, I am selfish with my time and the way that I interact with others. And I don't let people penetrate and ruin my day. And that is super important to note, that I think that a lot of people, they love to post like really cool quotes on their Instagram, like, yeah, I'm stepping into my selfish era and I'm not about to let X, Y, and Z hurt my feelings. But truthfully, like, if we're really going to dissect that person, they actually are in their phone texting that person back and arguing with them all day. And they are, entertaining toxic situations, and they are not getting rid of those friends who really don't give a shit about them. That is not me. I want you guys to take this from me. I am genuinely not entertaining anything of that, okay? There's a lot of things that I do sometimes that are kind of like a fake it till you make it type of thing. This ain't one of them. I am not faking it till I make it with my boundaries. If I say that I am no longer serving toxic relationships, I actually mean that. So, for instance, Toxic people come into your life all the time. There's a lot of very unhealed people walking this earth that can disguise themselves as healed, normal, regular people. It's not our fault if we interact with these people. I think we can only really take accountability for what we do with that person further when we realize who they really are, okay? Once I realize you are not going to serve me in a positive way and you're gonna be taking my energy, my time, my emotional well-being from me, we are no longer speaking, and I really actually mean that. So I think in your selfish era, it's time to only entertain situations that are beneficial to you, that actually help you become better. If you feel like somebody is just really taking from you all the time, you need to reevaluate the situation. And you also really need to take a look in the mirror. Let's take accountability for ourselves, everyone. You can't always blame that person for being bad to you, saying, you're such a horrible person, why do you never care about me? It's time for you to cut it off. You need to stop making other people have to care. Maybe they really just don't. You need to care enough to say, I'm selfish now, and I am going to only be doing things that serve me, that keep me in a good headspace, that allow me to grow, and that give me that fuel that I need to continuously be a better person. If I feel like you're taking from me, I don't want anything to do with you. Set those boundaries. Manifest that by essentially saying, I am no longer going to allow people in my life to take from me. And to execute that manifestation, you need to actually reevaluate every relationship in your life, whether that's a situationship, a boyfriend, a friend, a family member, somebody who is stifling you in any way. You need to actually execute that manifestation by cutting it off. You can do it peacefully, you can do it respectfully, but you have to cut off things that actually are taking from you and not allowing you to grow as a human being. Come on. Okay, so the next thing in your selfish era that I think is really important to focus on is prioritizing your health. Now, this could be your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health. Right this second, because I've been on a mental health journey for many years, that is not something that I need work on. So what I've been naturally doing is working on my physical health. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, what are you doing? You would know that I have been on a fitness journey. I have been really in the gym more than ever. And I care deeply now about my physical health. I never ever looked at physical activity as important. I always thought it was about being skinny or being, like looking good in a bikini. But it's so much more than that to me now. Like now I can't even imagine myself ever falling by the wayside again and not prioritizing my fitness. Not only is it helping me feel actually good in my real life, so I feel mentally better, but having my body function in ways I never thought it would. For instance, literally, I was 30 pounds heavier in the fall, and I would go for a walk with my dogs and I would be out of breath at about a quarter of a mile. I mean, that is interesting to me. Like a quarter of a mile, I was exhausted. I wanted to go inside. I didn't want to do the walk anymore, and it was just not for me. Now, I can do 2, 3, 4 miles with my dogs and it's nothing to me. The other day I took my dogs for a walk, and I love to take them to parks near my home. So I'll put them in the car, we'll go together. And I had my Apple Watch on, and I realized that we were on like mile 2, maybe 2.5 at that point, and I didn't even feel tired. I told myself, wow, I could walk this entire walk again 3 times. And it felt so good. And I really think that in your selfish era and stepping into this more selfish vibe, prioritizing your physical health needs to be pretty up there. And I think a lot of people like to make excuses for why they think that fitness isn't important, but it really is. Not only is it good for your longevity of life and your quality of life, but it's good for your mental health, and it keeps you, in check. I don't really care about numbers on the scale as much as I care about how I feel. And that is what's important to me. And I have to say, I now see why people talk about fitness so much and why they're so obsessed with it, because it truly is like the cure to so many different things that you can be struggling with. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know, your situation, if you're in a relationship, if you're not. For all of my girls that are in relationships right now, I can imagine that a lot of you are not prioritizing fitness. If you were anything like me, when I was in my relationship, it was my lazy girl time. I just wasn't, stepping out and doing these things for myself, because truth be told, fitness is a journey that requires you to be selfish. You need to leave the house, go to the gym for an hour, go out for a walk. And if your partner is not on the same schedule as you, you're not going to be able to do this with this person. So you really actually have to map out that time for yourself. And when you're in a relationship, sometimes that can feel super foreign. Like actually doing things for yourself without considering your partner feels very odd. At least it did for me in my relationship. So I did not prioritize my fitness in my relationship. And if ever we did try to work out, it was always like a together thing. And it never was sustainable because our schedules were different. Like he worked out of the home, I worked in the home. It just never ended up meshing correctly. And I just never prioritized it on my own free will. So I have to say, for those in relationships, this is me telling you, get your ass out, get a gym membership, and start walking. That is it, that is all. It's very important that we prioritize these things in our selfish life. And to manifest this is, I would say, find a picture of somebody who has a similar body to you, that's a little bit more toned and fit. Use them as an example, maybe put them on the background of your phone, or you know, follow a bunch of people on Instagram who you really think are inspirational in this way. And to execute this is to actually just hold yourself accountable and get your ass in the gym. That is what I think is so crucial in a journey of being selfish. I think that any girl who's stepping into their selfish era is going to be in the gym. End of story. It needs to be a part of it, because fitness, you don't always have to look at it as being skinny or whatever, but you have to look at it as healthy for the body, period. And being selfish means caring about your body. Because I've lost so much weight and I'm able to feel healthier and more mobile, like I feel like I can move better and my joints and my muscles just feel a lot stronger, I naturally just feel better. So I wanted to put that out there. And you know, eating right is super important as well. You know, being selfish with our bodies, we need to be a little bit picky, a little choosy what we put into it. You know, be intuitive. That is what I think is the best thing and the best case scenario for anybody who is trying to figure out how to eat good for themselves, is be an intuitive eater. Notice the things that make you feel sick. Notice the things that make you feel off. That is what you need to focus on. Write it down if you have to. For me, literally in 2022, I randomly started getting a little bit about raw red onions. I could not believe it. So now I naturally just don't eat that. I am more of an intuitive eater, so when people say you have to eat, you know, 6 times a day, things like that, no. You need to eat when your body feels like it's time to eat, and you need to fill your body with healthy things. So for me, I'm not super hungry in the morning. I'm not gonna force myself to eat in the morning. So what I like to do is I'll probably have a few pieces of fruit, and then by lunch, I'll have a salad with some fruit on the side. I'll snack before dinner, and I feel great. And that is, to me, like intuitively eating is just knowing when I'm hungry, knowing when I feel like I need to have something. And I also am trying to remind myself that consuming a lot of water is super important as well. And it will help you navigate your food journey if you struggle with diet, because a lot of the times we think, you know, we're starving when in reality we're really actually just dehydrated. So these are all things to, you know, pay attention to. And, you know, being selfish with our bodies, our minds, and our souls, elite, you have to. And also take some vitamins. We're all adults here. It's time to start taking vitamins. Like, I can list down below in the description box some of my favorite vitamins that I take. Probiotics. You need probiotics for your women's health. You need, you know, probiotics for your vaginal health. Things to just keep yourself healthy and cleansed and good. It's important to just be on top of those things. Okay, so the third thing that I want to talk about when it comes to really being selfish with ourselves is we are no longer apologizing for things that we care about. So a lot of the times, you know, we are always trying to appease others. This is the time where we're gonna just be appeasing ourselves. People who love and care about you will allow you to be yourself. I promise you. Like, I have never had an issue with people that I'm very close with having an issue with me focusing on myself. That is a major issue if that's a relationship that you have with somebody. You need to reevaluate it. So a lot of the times when we are stepping into our selfish era, we need to start actually honing in on certain experiences that require us to be a little bit of a time away from others. And that's okay. I know for me, you know, I spent a good chunk of, you know, the beginning of my 20s working and grinding and hustling to make sure that I can live the life that I live now. And now, because I live the life I live now, I'm able to sit back and relax a little bit more. And I'm so happy that I did that, because I noticed that there was a good amount of people who really weren't prioritizing themselves in their early 20s. And it really doesn't matter. It's not about like a time frame or anything like that, but I don't know if these people will ever prioritize themselves. So I just think that, you know, when you do put yourself first, and it can't just be for like 2 weeks, it has to be for a long period of time, you're gonna see some growth. I have never heard of a single person putting in work every day nonstop, and it doesn't have to be working hard. It has to be working smart. You know, are we doing things that are actually beneficial? Have we done the research? Have we, you know, executed a plan that actually looks like it's gonna do well? These are all things to consider. But I think what's important is, you know, appeasing yourself and doing things that are going to get you further in 6 months needs to happen today. Today. No more putting off, you know, starting that YouTube channel. No more putting off if you should or shouldn't open up that business that you said you were gonna do. No more putting off if you wanna go back to school and get that degree. Let's do it now. Tomorrow isn't gonna be an easier day or a better day to do it than today. You have to stop putting things off, and you know, no more stifling yourself and no more allowing others to stifle you. You are only hurting yourself when you are putting things off that are actually beneficial to your future. And like I said, you know, from the earlier part of the video, we do want to enjoy our present, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about how to do that. But also part of enjoying our present is doing things in our present that do actually propel our future. So for instance, me filming this video right now is a present thing, right? So I'm currently doing this, but maybe this video will do exponentially well, and it will help me with other different endeavors that happen to me in the future. So we have to really look at it and say, okay, so this is something that I'm doing now that's gonna help me later, but I'm still enjoying the now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think that in our selfish era, to manifest, you know, a better, more selfish and enjoyable life, it's time to just actually do the things that you always said you wanted to do, and no more putting it off, no more allowing others' opinions to affect how and why and what you're doing, the things that you're doing. Ridiculous. They're not paying your bills, they're not living your life, and they don't have to wake up in your skin every day. You need to stop focusing on what other people think all the time. That is not very selfish of you. Selfish means me, 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 me. I still love you guys, you're still a part of my life, but me, 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 me. End of story. And I already kind of touched on this in the beginning of the video, but I wanted to just put out there that we are no longer nurturing relationships that do not serve us, okay? I was, you know, having a discussion with somebody recently, and I can also talk about my own experiences, who I can tell that this particular person is struggling with trying to figure out if they should or should not, you know, focus on themselves and leave this person behind. And if you're already wavering that type of, you know, mindset, it probably means that you should probably move forward, because a person that you truly love, truly care about, and you think is, you know, the one for you and respects you and loves you equally, you're not going to think, should I or should I not leave this person? Like, no. So I think a lot of people struggle with ending things with people because they actually have a hard time being selfish, and being selfish, a huge part of that is actually being okay with living with yourself. Living with yourself is elite when you start to realize that, you know, it's actually fun. For me, I was always afraid and fearful of being alone. So I was a serial monogamous. I was constantly dating my entire life. Even as young as 14, 15 years old, I had boyfriends. So for me, this is the first time I've ever been single in my life, and I have to say I truly enjoy it. It's not something that I'm faking the funk. I'm not like, yeah, I love being single, and then I'm like really crying after this video. No, I actually really like being single, and it has nothing to do with not liking a man's company. I actually love having a male's company in my life, but you wanna know what's crazy? Because I've been focusing on myself so much, and I've stepped into my selfish era at a whole new level, I have been enjoying myself and my own company more than anything ever. I genuinely enjoy laughing by myself watching a TV show. I enjoy working. I enjoy taking care of myself. I enjoy running errands by myself, going to the grocery store and getting new olive oil and buying myself flowers. Like, these flowers I get from Whole Foods every week, and I love them, and they make me happy. And I just love doing things with myself. And I have to say that I don't find this to be intimidating for a man who truly cares about you when you go out and date again, because simply a man who really wants to be with you wants you to like being with yourself, and doesn't, it's one thing, I know ego is really big for men, so they do want you to need them a little bit, but for emotional, like emotional fulfillment, I think that that's a little bit ridiculous. I think we need to emotionally fulfill ourselves. So I think that, you know, you need to love and enjoy being with yourself and being selfish in your own, you know, life and actually doing things that, you know, excite you and are new things. And, you know, maybe you want to like listen to podcasts or paint or walk every day, or maybe you want to get a dog and you actually want to like spend time with it all the time and do, it could be a number of things that you could do. But I think that the best way to really nurture relationships or figure out if a relationship is for you or for not for you is when you truly just love yourself and when you truly are okay with whatever. If you're okay with whatever, you're good. So for me, I am officially in that point in my life, and I can even speak from my own experience. So this is how I know I'm personally growing. I had a man reach out to me via Instagram the other day, and normally if I find somebody attractive, I naturally just nurture the conversation and I match their energy, right? So I'm a huge energy matcher. So if somebody's coming at me pretty strong and I also feel the same way, I'm gonna, you know, receive it, and I'm gonna see, okay, let's see where this goes. And this guy reached out to me the other day, and I thought he was pretty cute. But for some reason, I intuitively just felt like, I don't really see this going anywhere, and it is what it is. So we had a great conversation, and I actually ended the conversation by saying, hey, you know, it was really nice talking to you today. I'm gonna go to sleep now, but, you know, I hope you have a great, you know, night and a great rest of your week. And I left it there with no expectation of us ever speaking again, because I just felt so content and solid in just leaving it there. And I never have done that before. Like, a lot of the times if I don't speak to somebody ever again, it has to be because we fought or we had a discourse of some sort, or, you know, we just didn't, you know, like each other. But me and this person, I thought we kind of liked each other a little bit, but I really didn't care to see where it went. I'm not really interested in pursuing it at the moment. I'm more interested in pursuing myself. So I kind of left the conversation as it was. It was a very nice conversation, and that was what it was. And I felt like, wow, that's growth, Hailey. Like, you actually were able to just leave it be in that day. It was a day, it was an evening conversation that we had for maybe 3 hours, which is a little long, but, you know, we weren't responding back to each other like quickly, but just over like a 3-hour time period, we were just kind of talking back and forth. And I left it there, and we never spoke again, and it's fine. Like, I don't feel any type of way. And it felt really good to just like end it on my own, like end it in a way where I'm not mad at you, you're not mad at me, but like, I'm just kind of like working on myself right now, and I'm not really interested in nurturing and watering a relationship at the moment. That's all. That's it. And it feels really good. So back to what I was saying before, you know, we no longer want to serve and nurture relationships that aren't, you know, doing anything for us in particular. A lot of women especially, you know, love looking for potential. And you know what's so crazy? I speak to women all the time, you know, friends, acquaintances, or just people in general. A lot of you guys even in my DMs, where you are very self-aware. Like, you know what you're dealing with. You'll say to me, oh, like, you know, he's done nothing for me. You know, I literally just love looking at potential, and oh, I have trauma in my life. And like, you're very self-aware, yet you don't act on your self-awareness at all. So you'll deal with somebody who you very much know is not good for you, who you very much know is not going to do anything for you, but for some reason, you're just never gonna leave them at the moment. And I don't judge you for it. I think that everybody has their own threshold for when they're done with someone. But I would challenge you to say to yourself, if somebody isn't really giving me what I need and desire at the moment, maybe it's time for me to just peacefully exit the situation and give myself the things that this person isn't giving me. I think seeking validation and gratification from people all the time is a little bit toxic, and we need to give ourselves the same love, respect, and dedication that we look for in a partner, just to ourselves, and us give ourselves that. So I think that this is, you know, something that's going to be really important in stepping into your selfish era, is just giving yourself everything you need, want, and desire. You do it. And then when you find somebody who matches that, that's what's going to be like the, ooh, okay, you know what I mean? It's just time for you to enjoy yourself. Stimulate yourself. Do not seek stimulation from others. It's okay to literally get dressed up for no fucking reason and sit at a restaurant by yourself and enjoy your time, take pictures, and enjoy yourself. I think that that is so bold and beautiful and extremely like incredible. And I think that a lot of us, we just struggle with doing things for ourselves. Maybe it naturally just comes from the fact that we were raised a certain way, where we were just told that it's selfish. You know, the word selfish is not necessarily a great word, that it's selfish to do things, you know, strictly for your own well-being. But I'm here to tell you that no, it's not, especially when you are a young adult. Like, it is the time to be selfish and care deeply about yourself. If you don't care deeply about yourself, then who really can, right? I really think that the key to love and a happy life is to truly feel the things about yourself that somebody else that comes into your life will give you as well. You know, I know that for me, because of my own growing journey and my own life itself, that when I do meet the man of my dreams, it's gonna feel familiar to me, because the familiarity is gonna come from my own love and admiration for myself. I'm gonna say, oh, this feels good because I do this for me. And I think that that is a beautiful thing. And I think that being selfish with your energy, your time, your peace, your relationships, your money, your life, all of it, you are going to see such a huge change and shift in your own world. You know, your vibrations are high. You're gonna see a lot of positivity surrounding you. You're going to weed out all of the bad people and negativity and energy that just doesn't, you know, belong in your life. And it's gonna feel very freeing, and like a weight is lifted off your chest. And I just think that this is the time. Today is the day where it's just time for us to hone in on every experience ever that we've put off, that we've maybe blindly ignored, or we maybe just feel like, okay, you know what, it's time. You knew it was there, but you need to do it now. So I think that this is what the selfish era is all about. The selfish era is about boundaries, energy, money, life, peace of mind, and enjoying yourself. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. As much as I enjoyed making it, it was actually very cathartic for me, even though I am already experiencing all these things. I guess saying them and putting them out into the universe is like a way of me just like reiterating all the things that I tell myself on a daily basis, so I love it. If you guys have any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. You guys know that I always like to answer you guys back, or I'll read majority of your comments. I actually do. I spend a lot of time reading them. So please leave them down below. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.